Yes, Kenya. Tamu sana is tamu sana. William Ruto and his Kenya Kwanza alliance were in Kakamega County today for their campaigns. And from the news items we are receiving and some videos, Ruto and his brigade never found the going very easy in Kakamega County. So in this video right now, I want us to have a look at a short clip of William Ruto addressing residents who in turn shouts Azimio. After which, as usual here, we are just going to analyze that to see exactly its political implication just about 7 months to the elections. Have a look at this.
Katiba kwanza ama uchumi kwanza? Wanasema tupange uchumi. Wale tunashindana na wao eti wanatuambia ati wanataka kubadilisha uchumi, wanataka kubadilisha katiba kwanza.
That's William Ruto and his brigade finding it very hard to address Kisero residents in Kakamega County. What does that mean politically? That's our analysis and discussion right now. If in case you've just bumped here for the very first time, kindly subscribe, give this video a like. Thank you, God bless you, God bless Kenya. What does that mean? Only 7 months remaining to the election. For about 3 days now, William Ruto and his brigade have been campaigning in Western Kenya. They started off in Vihiga County, Musalia Mudavadi's home county. And from the response we saw there, it was not all that a warm welcome. Something that maybe Musalia and his team might have expected. The response was not all that receptive, and then the crowd was way too low. And that was a rally, or rather a political tour, that had been dubbed Musalia Mudavadi's homecoming. But we never saw a lot of excitement in their Vihiga rallies. And then yesterday, they were also in Busia County. And there is a very interesting event, or rather incident, that happened in Nambale constituency. A parliamentary aspirant there, an older parliamentary aspirant, actually campaigned for Azimio in front of Ruto and his brigade. Another indication that maybe that part of Western is also largely Azimio. And then again, they were in Kakamega today, and we are seeing residents there telling them clearly, Azimio. William Ruto is trying all he can to campaign, or rather to talk to those residents, but they're just shouting, Azimio. Anything William Ruto tells them, they respond, Azimio. Yes. And in my considered opinion, that's just an indication, or rather those are just indications that largely Western is still hostile to William Ruto, Mudavadi, and that brigade of theirs. And they will have to work extra hard to maybe convince residents of Western, or rather the Mulembe nation, to buy their idea. And from where I sit, I tend to believe the ground is becoming very slippery for Ruto and his team because of some reasons, which I've always been talking about in this YouTube channel. The first reason is that Kakamega residents, or rather the Mulembe nation, believes that Raila Odinga has the best and more realistic chance of winning the presidency than even William Ruto. Because now if you look at things the way they are today, Raila has been winning the Mulembe vote. And all along in those previous elections, it's widely believed in those areas that Raila has been winning, but his victory is always being rigged. His victory is always being stolen from him by the system and the deep state. And now that system and that deep state now fully supports Raila Odinga. Now in one way or the other, residents in those areas now believes firmly that Raila's victory this time round won't be stolen. And they believe now that now Raila has a more realistic chance of winning the presidency because that system is now on his side. And also it's a belief in those areas, in fact in Raila's strongholds, it's also widely believed that to win a presidential election in Kenya, then you must be assisted, you must be supported by the system. And I've seen William Ruto in this brigade. I've looked at their campaigns in Western in the 3 days. They have been trying to project Raila Amolo Odinga as a government project. But one thing Ruto and this brigade do not know is that to profile Raila as a government project is actually making Raila even more popular in those areas. Because already from the past elections, supporters or other residents in those areas, they have been made to feel or rather to believe that you must be assisted by the government or the system to actually win a presidential election. So by branding Raila a project, residents in those areas, they know Raila is not a project. They know Raila has been actually campaigning and his victory is always being stolen by the government. Then now to brand Raila a project, you are now just telling these people that actually Raila's vote this time around won't be stolen. So because of that wrong narrative and that wrong campaign, Ruto and his brigade are making it even hard for them, for Mulembe Nation to actually believe that Ruto and his brigade are actually going to form the government. Ruto and his brigade are coming as people who are not being supported by the government. So they have a likely possibility of losing. But the Mulembe Nation wants to be on the winning side. So because of that wrong narrative, Ruto and his brigade most definitely will find it very hard to win election, or rather to turn tables against Raila Amolo Odinga in Western. And then secondly, if you look at the people accompanying William Ruto and Musalia Mudavadi, almost all the notable political figures in Western have all dumped this team and they are all angling in Azimio. If you talk of top governors, top politicians, they have all dumped this group and now they are all in Azimio. And then if you talk about William Ruto in Western, you are just reminding the good people of Western of the bad face of Jubilee government. It's a given fact and a majority of residents there still view William Ruto as the bad face of the Jubilee government. Ruto, according to some good number, or rather to some good residents of Western, and also in Raila's previous support bases, they see William Ruto as the face of corruption that dogged Jubilee government in their first term and even in their second term. Now for Mudavadi now to take that kind of a leader to them, and he wants to convince those people to vote for such kind of a leader, I know it will be very, very hard for Musalia Mudavadi and his team to actually convince them to support William Ruto. And also, if you look at it objectively, the Mulembe Nation, they have been supporting Raila for so many years. And the reason they have been supporting Raila Amolo Odinga was for Raila Amolo Odinga to win the presidency. And as things stand out today, if you put Raila here and William Ruto here, Raila comes out as more experienced, while William Ruto comes out as a political greenhorn, a political novice, because William Ruto has never contested for the presidency. This is going to be his first time to contest for the presidency. So it's about one experienced leader and another political greenhorn. And naturally, a good majority of Kenyans, and in this case, the Mulembe Nation, will prefer somebody with experience who they have really studied over all these years, and they have found that he can deliver. William Ruto, for the time he has been in government, actually Kenyans have tested him, and he has been found to be a little bit wanting, because in 2013 again, William Ruto had the privilege of nominating about half of the cabinet, but a majority of the slots he only gave to his Kalenjin ethnic community. So William Ruto has nothing tangible that actually can use to endear himself to the good people of Western. Raila Amolo Odinga, for the time he served in government, Western Kenya, they had a deputy prime minister, they had a speaker, and several cabinet secretaries. William Ruto cannot pinpoint exactly what he has done to Western for the time he has been in government. So because of all those, I know William Ruto will find it a little bit hard trying to convince residents of Western to actually support his bid. But one day in politics is a long period of time. Things can change. But as it is today, it's very hard, or rather, it appears to be very, very hard for Ruto and his team to convince Kakamega residents, or rather, Western Kenya residents as a whole. Mark you, it's only 7 months remaining to the election. Before I conclude, guys, just as I did state when it was starting, if in case you've just bumped here for the very first time, kindly subscribe, give this video a like. Thank you, God bless you, God bless Kenya.